Hey everybody, Arashi here, back again with another upload. And in today's video, I'm just going to do something really quickly, or just kind of a topic that I've seen discussed a while, because we've all seen those polls in Star Wars where people ask stuff like, who is the strongest Jedi, and they'll have like, strongest Sith or strongest Force user, and they'll have like Revan, and then they'll have like Anakin Skywalker, and they'll have Luke, etc, that kind of stuff. And in today's video, I'm gonna actually explain why Jedi and Sith of the past are way stronger than the ones that we have currently. Well, not way stronger, but way more experience and just more of a deeper understanding and connection to the Force that they're using. One of the reasons why we actually see the past Jedi and past Sith as stronger than they actually are, or way stronger than current Star Wars, is mainly due to the era that they were born in. I mean, in this era, there were tons of Sith, tons of Jedi running around the galaxy, and it was just all-out war to see who can, bring balance to the Force, or what they thought was bringing balance to the Force. Which means that they were running into each other a lot more, and they actually had a lot more saber-to-saber combat and a lot more, a lot less saber-to-blaster combat that we have nowadays. So the saber-to-saber combat and having to actually face other Force users made them to be way stronger than what they are, and what we have currently. I don't know, I keep saying what they are, but I don't know. I mean, the Jedi what we have currently, back when Anakin Skywalker was around and during the Skywalker era, they hadn't necessarily seen another Sith for 1,000 years. This led to the Jedi just practicing their moves on themselves or on each other than actually in a combat situation, whether it's life or death. And as we all know, people who played sports, people who've done anything like that, or any kind of triathlon, anything sport event wise, or even go to war, unfortunately, those kind of things come into play. The person who's been doing it a longer time and has actually been fighting and actually has the experience will far outweigh the person who's just coming in fresh. And that's just due to the fact that they've had time to tune their skills and actually be able to use it and apply it into real life situations. The Force users back then knew that they were essentially going to have to immediately fight once they were done with their training, whereas the Jedi that we have now currently just kind of they weren't born into the fight. They just had to inclement and adapt their way into their fight. And even then, they were more so using the Force as, for saber to blaster combat. They weren't necessarily training for saber to saber combat. Yes, they trained in a Jedi temple in saber to saber combat, but it was never a life or death situation. They weren't actually trying to kill each other. They're just trying to, train. Now, that's not to take away from current Star Wars. We still have some of the best duelists we've ever seen in galactic history in this current Star Wars, such as Anakin Skywalker, Mace Windu, Count Dooku, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke Skywalker. All these guys really took a lot of time, heck, even Yoda. They all took a lot of time to really learn and hone their skills in saber-to-saber combat. Also, practitioners like, Maul and Baylan Skoll and, Ahsoka. These people actually took the time to learn how to duel in combat better. And also for people like Anakin, it also helped that he ran into people like Asajj Ventress countless times, and he ran into people like Count Dooku countless times. I mean, Count Dooku was almost like a measuring stick for Anakin. When Anakin finally bested Count Dooku is when, Palpatine enacted his plan, because if he couldn't best Count Dooku, then, obviously there would have been no point in taking him in as his apprentice. So yes, we had a bunch of good duelists during this time, and we had good Force users during this time, and there were some powerful Jedi during our current Star Wars, but if you weren't born necessarily into the fight and the struggle of the past Jedi, then none of these guys would really understand, none of the current Jedi at least would really understand what it took to survive back in the day, back when, there were Sith around every corner, and you were running into a Sith nearly every day, and thousands of Jedi were dying on a daily basis too. You really had to be in your bag, you really had to be training, and you really had to make sure that you were doing everything right in order to survive back in the day. So that's pretty much all I got for this video. Just a little tidbit, maybe a little bit of a thought, so next time you see any of these polls, when you're thinking about it, just think about the experience and think about not necessarily just defeats, but just also think about where they were coming from, what kind of era these Jedi were born in, or Sith that they were involved in. And obviously, just even further proof that, not necessarily everything from the past is better. Palpatine is literally possibly one of the most powerful Sith that has ever walked in a galaxy. That's up for debate too, but as of right now, yeah, I personally believe that he's possibly one of the most powerful Sith to ever walk in a galaxy. So that's just more proof that, not necessarily the past being just this all-time great feat or this all-time great everything. So just kind of think about everybody's experience, though. I just want you guys to think about that at least. So that's all I got for this video. Remember, you guys are all loved. You guys are welcome, and you guys are, the world is a better place with you in it. So if any of you guys are ever going through anything like that, just please. That's all I got for today's video. May the force be with you, and have a great rest of your day.